I am God's warrior. And I got something to say. I got something that's been sticking in my craw for a long time. Yesterday, a very beautiful lady, it was like second mother to me, died. And I've been trying to figure out why. Now I've heard, whether it's true or not, I don't know. I've heard that she went in to the hospital to have some dye put inside her so they see what was going on. And the doctor looked at her and said he wanted to do surgery. So I guess the surgery was done, it was outpatient surgery, it was done. And after they got her out of surgery, I guess she was still groggy. And while she was still groggy, instead of sending her home, and I mean, this woman was 74 years old, instead of sending her home, I guess instead of sending her home, because I guess she was still groggy, and asked where she was and where they were taking her, and they said they're taking her to dialysis. Now, if she just got out of surgery and was still groggy, why didn't they send her home and do dialysis another day? I mean, were they in such a rush because the holiday was coming up that they said, hey, you know, we're not going to be here Monday, and Tuesday, you know, it'll be too late, so we'll just put her in dialysis today. Well, when they hooked her up to dialysis, she had a major coronary cardiac arrest, as they put it. And they tried to revive her for an hour, and then 2 hours later, they called her a relative. Now, why did they wait 2 hours to call a relative? Why didn't they just call them right then and say, we're sorry, there's been complications, we're very sorry for your loss? Instead of saying, and this is what gets me, instead of saying, it's not our fault. They didn't come right out and say that, but the way they acted, what I was told, that's the way they acted. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't our fault. Now, were they in such a, I mean, what is their mortality rate? What is their mortality? What is the hospital mortality rate? I'm not gonna say what hospital. I'm not gonna say who told me or nothing. You'll probably figure it out for yourself. But what is their mortality rate? Why would they take a 74-year-old woman that they just put dye in and supposedly did an outpatient surgery to relieve pressure? Why would they take her from there without even putting her in recovery? So I heard. Why would they take her right there? Why would they put her right in dialysis? Why would they put her, if she was groggy, saying, where am I? What's going on? Why would they tell her, well, we're putting you in dialysis? I mean, why didn't they just have her sign her life away? If they did do outpatient surgery and she was still groggy, why didn't they send her home for a day? Holiday or not, why didn't they just send her home for a day, let her rest up, and then go in the next day when she was fresh and okay? Let her go home, rest, instead of taking her right from one spot to dialysis. They hooked her up to dialysis, and as she was in dialysis, she had a cardiac arrest. Now she's told me, this sweet woman that died, the 74-year-old, has told me before she died, God rest her soul, rest in peace. She told me there were people, and while she was in dialysis, that have had heart attacks. They've had heart attacks, and they've done this, that, and the other thing. What I'm saying is, if she did have surgery, why did they take her from surgery, outpatient surgery, right to dialysis? Why didn't they wait? I mean, were they in such a hurry to get to their vacation, to get to their holiday, that they were trying to get as many people out as they could, or trying to get as many patients at dialysis that they could, and thinking, okay, we got all the patients, thank goodness. Now we can go to our holiday. Now we can go to a vacation or have a day of rest, whatever, with a good conscience. You tell me, who was negligent? This 74-year-old woman did not have to die. Now her grandkids, her great-grandkids, her children, all have to mourn without any explanation of what happened. I think a hospital or someone should should send a note or letter to her children, or bring her children in and say, this is what happened, step by step by step, so that her children know what happened to their mother, instead of the dark cloud 2 or 3 hour episode, not knowing anything, calling a relative and saying this, that, and the other thing. Could you come in? Could you come in? Could you please come in? Leaving a message. Could you please come in? And then when the children go in, or when I don't know if it was the children, but when a relative go in, they say, well, we don't know what happened. All we know is she had a cardiac arrest and she died. I mean, I've heard stories, now whether it's true or not, but I've heard stories about people passing out and waking up in the morgue. Now, whether it's true or whether it's not, I don't know, but I've heard. But what I'm saying is, if they did surgery on this woman, why didn't they call a relative, come pick her up, call a cab or something? Because I'm sure somebody would have came pick her up. She was one of the sweetest women I know. She was like a second mother to me. Why didn't they say, okay, she's groggy, you know, let's give her some recovery time. Let's wait till she's fully awake, wide awake, or send her home and say we're gonna let her get a day of rest. But please come in tomorrow. Let us set you up a time tomorrow that you can come in. Go home and get some rest and come in tomorrow and we'll do your dialysis. Instead of taking her right from surgery or whatever, or the die place or whatever, instead of taking her right from there, have her groggy, not knowing where she's going. Where am I going? What are you doing? We're taking you to dialysis. Hooking her up to dialysis, knowing that she was out of sorts, knowing she was tired, knowing this, that, and the other thing. Why didn't they just take her to tell her to go home and rest and come in another day? Is dialysis that important that it's worth a person's life? Is dialysis that important that if a person is groggy, that if they're scheduled for dialysis, same day they're scheduled for outpatient surgery, is dialysis that important that they can't schedule it for another day, knowing they were scheduled for outpatient surgery or some sort of test or whatever, knowing that the dialysis might affect the other test? It's like mixing two medications together. It's like mixing alcohol and drugs together. You shouldn't do it. It's wrong and it should not be done. Why did they put her through outpatient surgery and then take her to dialysis, knowing she was groggy, out of sorts, confused? Where am I? What are you doing? Oh, we're taking you to dialysis. Hook her up to the machine. Have her have a cardiac arrest, try to revive her for an hour, and then call a relative 2 hours later, or leave a message. There's something wrong with so-and-so, there's something wrong with so-and-so. Please call us, there's something wrong with so-and-so. I found out at 8 o'clock. But they found out at 5:30. Why wait 2 hours? I mean, why wait? I mean, I've got my suspicions, but I'm not going to say anything. Why wait 2 hours? That. The first question is, why take a woman from outpatient surgery right to dialysis, knowing something could happen? Why not let her go home and schedule it another day? Is a holiday that important? Is a vacation that important? Is getting your quota that important? You tell me. And if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. And to all these people, see, I'm not politically correct. I am God's warrior. Jesus Christ was not politically correct. So to all those people who say you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't do that, that's not politically correct. To all the politically correct people, I say, bite me. I'm controversial. I'm not politically correct. And if anybody got offended, good.